Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is our pleasure to present our paper on-street and off-street parking analysis of passenger car in Malioboro, Yogyakarta. The authors of this paper are myself, NOOR MAHMUDAH, Iswanto, Dian Setiawan, Taufik Heri Purwanto, Arif Nurholis, and Sonia Dinda Ramadhani. We are from Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta and Universitas Gajah Mada, Yogyakarta. The presentations consist of, firstly, introductions, research method, results and discussions, and finally, conclusions. Introductions. Background. The growth of motorized vehicle in Indonesia reached almost 9% per year, whereas the growth of vehicle in Yogyakarta almost 4.04% per year. Therefore, the growth of private vehicle will increase the traffic volume, especially in commercial business district or CBD in Yogyakarta, like Malioboro area, and also increasing the parking demand in the CBD area. We have attempted to elaborate the important factors influencing the parking demand in the CBD area in Yogyakarta, such as configuration of parking, accumulations, duration, volume, turnover, parking index, and parking capacity. And finally, we compare between supply and demand occur in parking area in CBD Malioboro, Yogyakarta. This is the illustrations of traffic in Malioboro area, especially along the Malioboro Street. Study area actually consists of 3 areas of on-street parking and 1 area for the off-street parking. However, in this paper, we have considered only 1 on-street parking in the Perwakilan Street, as illustrated in this figure, and 1 on off-street parking area in Malioboro Mall, Yogyakarta. Another one, Pajakstan Street and Suryatmajan Street are the on-street parking area, but we didn't mention in this paper because this already presented in other forum. The objective of the study, firstly, to identify the characteristic of on-street and off-street parking in Malioboro, Yogyakarta, and then to analyze on-street and off-street parking demand, as well as analyze the on-street and off-street parking supply, and finally, comparing between the parking demand and supply. Research method consists of firstly, literature review, selection parking locations, and then data collection. There are 2 kinds of data. Firstly, primary data, such as number of existing passenger car, number of passenger car entering and exiting parking area, parking system, parking time, parking area, and number of visitors entering and exiting the Malioboro Mall. The secondary data, we have obtained also the QuickBat satellite imagery for Yogyakarta city, number of tourists in Yogyakarta, traffic volume in Malioboro Street, and map of car parking in Malioboro area. We then analyze all this data and determine the parking characteristic, such as parking configuration, parking accumulation, parking duration, parking volume, parking turnover, and parking index, as well as parking capacity. Parking capacity is supposed to be the parking supply. And then, based on the number of visitors at Malioboro Mall, we can estimate also the demand. based on the floor area of mall and also based on the visitors. And we have predicted three kinds of demands. Literature review. According to law number 22 of 2009, parking is defined as a condition of vehicle stopping or not moving for a period of time and being left by the driver. On-street parking is a parking facility on the effective width of the road either legally or illegally. In addition, off-street parking is defined as a parking space that is outside the road body and it does not reduce the effective width of the road. However, the main problem occurs in many big cities in Indonesia. The number of vehicles on street parking is more than off-street parking. Yogyakarta is well known as the center of education and culture in Indonesia, as well as the tourism destinations, where the number of tourists reached almost 4.4 million in 2016. The popular tourism destination in Yogyakarta is Malioboro Mall area. However, based on the previous study, we have found that the parking demand for motorcycle is higher than supply. That have conducted, we start from the QuickBird satellite imagery and we can identify the area of parking, either for on-street or off-street parking area in the CBD Malioboro, Yogyakarta. Then we conduct the survey either for on-street and off-street parking to determine the parking characteristic and also to determine the demand and supply. Afterward, we compare the supply and the demand and give a recommendation on it. This is the equation needed to calculate the parking configurations, accumulation, volume, duration, turnover index, and space capacity, especially to estimate the demand and also the supply of parking in the CBD area like Malioboro, Yogyakarta. And also we have estimate the off-street parking space demand based on the total floor area, total visitors, and parking duration of passenger car. And the results, this is the situation of street parking in Malioboro Mall, Yogyakarta. And this is the situation of on-street parking at Perwakilan Street, Yogyakarta. We have also figured out the circulation and configuration of parking, especially in Malioboro Mall, Yogyakarta, as part of street parking. Based on the calculation, we have obtained the on-street parking accumulations was 55 passenger car unit, and the off-street parking accumulation in Malioboro Mall was 122. Off-street parking duration at Malioboro Mall in average 1.43 hours. Parking volume in Malioboro Mall was 421 passenger car unit and the Perwakilan Street. For on-street parking, 183 passenger car unit. And the turnover is the occupying of the parking lot in a day. And we come to the output to compare the supply and demand based on the data we have collected and we have analyzed. The supply maximum is 105 vehicle passenger car unit. However, the demand is higher. Here's the comparison of result of all parking conditions And this is the critical one, where is the parking capacity is much lower than the demand. Conclusions. The increasing number of passenger cars will impact to the parking demand space, especially in commercial area like in Malioboro, Yogyakarta. The results showed the maximum on-street parking demand on street was the same as the capacity of 55 parking space units. In the contrary, off-street parking space capacity in Malioboro Mall was only 105, and estimated of street parking demand were 160, 146, and 176 parking space units respectively. In general, can be concluded that the off-street parking demand of passenger car exceeds the parking capacity or exceeds the supply, so the additional parking space is required and the ITS parking is needed to manage parking more efficiently and securely. We have recommendations, the concept of intelligent transportation system for parking, and still developing the devices by using the face recognition for security check for the passenger, for the car passenger parking in the CBD area like Malioboro and other area in other city. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.